The Anunnaki are a race of aliens from a planet called Nibiru. They have visited Earth many times in the past, and they are responsible for creating the pyramids and other ancient structures. We will also explore the possibility that the Anunnaki may have been involved in the creation of other ancient structures, such as Stonehenge and the Nazca Lines. We will also discuss the theory that the Anunnaki genetically engineered early humans in order to create a slave race. And finally, we will examine the evidence that the Anunnaki left behind advanced technology when they left Earth. At least that's what some people believe. But is there any evidence to support this claim? They gave some of the gold to the humans as payment for their work, but most of it they took back to Nibiru. There is evidence to support this claim, such as the fact that the pyramids align with certain stars in the sky. This suggests that the builders of the pyramids had knowledge of astronomy that we didn't know they had. They believe that the Anunnaki were able to travel to Earth in secret, and that they were able to build the pyramids without being detected. They believe that the Anunnaki are hiding their true identities, and that we will never know who they really are. First, the Anunnaki are said to have created humans in their own image, which suggests that they saw humans as an inferior race that was meant to serve them. Second, the Anunnaki are said to have forced humans to work in the mines, which is consistent with the idea that they viewed humans as nothing more than slaves. Finally, the Anunnaki are said to have eventually given humans some rights and allowed them to govern themselves. This could be seen as an attempt to control the human population more effectively by making them think that they were free. For example, mainstream archaeologists have been able to show that the alignment of Stonehenge is not as precise as some believe, and that there are natural explanations for the complexity of the Nazca Lines. Others believe that the Anunnaki are no longer on Earth, and that they have returned to their home planet of Nibiru. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Are you afraid of failing or afraid of what other people think of you? Start taking small steps towards the life that you want to live, and as you start to see progress, you'll be motivated to keep going. Or is it something else? Once you figure out what's holding you back, you need to develop a plan to overcome it. There will be setbacks along the way, but you need to pick yourself up and keep going. Don't ever lose sight of your goals. Remember why you started in the first place and keep moving forward. This will require some self-reflection and some honest conversations with yourself, but it's worth it. On the one hand, there are many ancient artifacts that we can't explain using current technology. This could suggest that the Anunnaki left behind advanced technology that we haven't discovered yet. On the other hand, it is possible that these artifacts can be explained using technology that was available at the time they were created. They believe that the Anunnaki will return to Earth someday in the future, and that they will bring with them advanced technology that will change the world as we know it. There is evidence to support this claim, but there is also evidence against it. Until we find physical evidence of the Anunnaki, such as their bodies or their technology, we may never know for sure what really happened. Like you're not really living to your potential, and you're not really happy. You're not alone. A lot of people feel that way. But the good news is that you will not have to just accept that this is how life is. There is hope for you, and there are things that you can do to turn your life around. However, there is also evidence against this claim. Ultimately, we may never know for sure what really happened. However, some people believe that there is evidence to support this claim. For example, the alignment of Stonehenge with the summer solstice has led some to believe that the builders of Stonehenge had knowledge of astronomy that we didn't know they had. This could suggest that the builders of Stonehenge were actually the Anunnaki. Similarly, the complexity of the Nazca Lines has led some to believe that they were created by the Anunnaki, or that they were created with the help of the Anunnaki. They also believe that the Anunnaki were able to hide their true identities, and that we have only recently discovered the truth about them. Additionally, there are various texts that tell stories of the Anunnaki and their interactions with humans. Second, the Anunnaki texts that describe the creation of humans do not say that the Anunnaki saw humans as a lesser race. Third, there are other explanations for why humans may have been forced to work in the mines. For example, it is possible that humans were forced to work in the mines because they needed resources in order to survive. However, there is also evidence against this claim. For example, carbon dating has shown that the pyramids are much older than the Anunnaki texts suggest. This means that the Anunnaki could not have built the pyramids because they hadn't arrived on Earth yet. Over time, the Anunnaki became more and more reliant on the humans, and they began to treat them better. However, if the Anunnaki were actually aliens, it is unlikely that they would have chosen a physical form that is so similar to ours. It is more likely that they would have chosen a form that is more suited to their planet of origin. They started to give them more rights, and they even began to teach them about their own culture and technology. Eventually, the Anunnaki decided to leave Earth and let the humans govern themselves. They left behind their advanced technology, and the humans used it to start civilizations all over the world. In this video, we will take a look at the evidence that the Anunnaki created the pyramids and left behind advanced technology when they left Earth. This suggests that the builders of the pyramids had knowledge of astronomy that we didn't know they had. Additionally, there are various texts that tell stories of the Anunnaki and their interactions with humans. The Anunnaki are a race of aliens from a planet called Nibiru. Nibiru is a planet that has an orbit that takes it around the Sun every 3,600 years. The last time Nibiru visited the Earth was in 2012. It is believed that the Anunnaki are the ones who started the Great Flood, and they also created the pyramids and other ancient structures. Some believe that they were the ones who started civilization on Earth. There is evidence to support these claims, such as the fact that the pyramids aligned with certain stars in the sky. The Anunnaki are said to have come to Earth in order to mine gold. They were looking for a new source of gold because their own planet was running out. They found plenty of gold on Earth, and they decided to stay here and start mining it. However, they soon realized that they needed help in order to do all the hard work. So they created the first human beings in their own image. They made them strong and intelligent enough to be able to do the work that they needed done, but they also made sure that they were subservient to the Anunnaki then forced the humans to work in the mines, and they used the gold that they mined to make their own world even more advanced. This is just one theory to explain how the pyramids and other ancient structures were built. Another piece of evidence against this claim is that the Anunnaki texts describe the Anunnaki as having a physical form that is similar to ours. Despite this evidence, some people still believe that the Anunnaki are responsible for creating the pyramids. Some people believe that the Anunnaki are still alive today and that they are living among us in secret. The theory that the Anunnaki created humans as a slave race is supported by several pieces of evidence. However, there is also evidence against this theory. First, there is no physical evidence that the Anunnaki ever existed. Overall, there is some evidence to support the theory that the Anunnaki created the pyramids and left behind advanced technology. The theory that the Anunnaki are responsible for the creation of other ancient structures such as Stonehenge and the Nazca Lines is not widely accepted. Mainstream archaeologists, however, it should be noted that mainstream archaeologists have been able to offer alternative explanations for both Stonehenge and the Nazca Lines. The question of whether or not the Anunnaki left behind advanced technology when they left Earth is also difficult to answer. Ultimately, the question of whether or not the Anunnaki are responsible for any of the ancient structures on Earth is still up in the air. What do you think? Do you think that the Anunnaki are responsible for any of the ancient structures on Earth? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions in life? First, you need to figure out what's holding you back. Is it fear? Next, you need to take action. Don't just sit around and wait for things to happen. Make things happen. Finally, don't give up. It takes time to change your life.